In the Sinai Desert, over 3,000 years ago, something extraordinary guided hundreds of thousands of people through the arid vastness. A pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Phenomena that challenge our understanding and question the boundaries between the divine and the natural. Is it possible that forces of the earth itself created this celestial spectacle? The biblical account of the Exodus presents one of the most intriguing phenomena in ancient history, a luminous manifestation that preceded and guided the Hebrew people during their 40-year journey through the desert. According to the scriptures, this pillar was not merely a sign, but an active presence that determined when the camp should move or stay. By day, it appeared as a dense cloud that provided shade against the scorching desert sun. By night, it transformed into a pillar of fire that illuminated the path and warmed the travelers. The sacred text describes this phenomenon in remarkable detail. The pillar never left the people. It maintained a consistent position at the head of the multitude, and its appearance changed according to the needs of the moment. When the Egyptians pursued the Israelites, the pillar positioned itself between the two groups, creating darkness for one side and light for the other. This description suggests not just a luminous phenomenon, but something with specific physical properties, capable of blocking sunlight, generating heat, and even selectively interfering with visibility. Historians and archaeologists have debated the nature of this event for centuries. Some suggest it was a poetic metaphor to describe divine guidance, while others advocate for a literal interpretation that would require explanations beyond conventional scientific knowledge. However, a third perspective emerges, the possibility that extraordinary natural phenomena, explainable by modern science, were interpreted through the religious lens of the time. The Sinai Desert, the setting for this narrative, is geologically active and known for its unique atmospheric phenomena. The region is located in a convergence zone of different air masses, creating conditions conducive to unusual meteorological manifestations. Additionally, volcanic activity in the area, although discrete, may have contributed to luminous phenomena observable over great distances, especially during the clear desert nights. Deserts are natural theaters where atmospheric physics and chemistry create luminous spectacles that defy understanding. In the Sinai, the unique conditions of temperature, humidity, and atmospheric composition generate phenomena that could easily be interpreted as supernatural by ancient observers. The extreme temperature variations between day and night create powerful convection currents, capable of sustaining columns of rising air laden with mineral particles. By day, these columns can appear as towers of dust and vapor, visible from miles away. The phenomenon known as a dust devil, common in arid regions, can reach considerable heights and remain stable for hours. When charged with specific particles of quartz and other reflective minerals abundant in the Sinai, these columns can create impressive optical effects, appearing to shine or shimmer against the blue desert sky. At night, other phenomena come into play. The natural ionization of the atmosphere, intensified by low humidity, and a high concentration of suspended minerals, can generate low-intensity electrical discharges similar to St. Elmo's fire observed on ships. This phenomenon creates a blue-green luminescence that can persist for hours, especially when constant updrafts keep the charged particles suspended. Modern researchers have documented cases of natural atmospheric plasma under conditions similar to those of ancient Sinai. These plasma manifestations can take on columnar shapes due to Earth's magnetic fields and vertical air currents. Natural plasma emits its own light and can remain cohesive for prolonged periods, creating the impression of a stable and consistent pillar of fire. Another crucial factor is the presence of subsurface volcanic gases in the region. Even without active eruptions, the constant release of gases rich in sulfur and other compounds can create atmospheric chemical reactions that produce luminescence. These reactions are particularly visible at night and can be intensified by the presence of residual moisture, creating a persistent luminous column visible from great distances. The Sinai is not just a common desert. It is a geologically complex region where tectonic plates meet and subterranean forces constantly shape the landscape. This geological activity creates unique conditions for atmospheric phenomena that could explain the pillar of fire and cloud described in the Exodus. The Sinai Peninsula is located in an active rift zone, where the Earth's crust is being gradually pulled apart, creating fissures that allow the release of geothermal gases and steam. Modern geophysical studies reveal an extensive network of geological faults under the Sinai, many of which are still active. These faults act as natural vents, allowing heated gases to escape from deep within the Earth. When these gases, rich in sulfur compounds, carbon dioxide, and water vapor, encounter the cold night air, they create visible plumes that can extend vertically for hundreds of meters. The specific composition of these gases is fundamental to understanding the luminous phenomenon. Hydrogen sulfide, common in geothermal emanations, can react with atmospheric oxygen to produce small amounts of light. When combined with suspended mineral particles, especially iron and magnesium, compounds abundant in Sinai's rocks, these chemical reactions can create a persistent, visible luminescence. Even more intriguing is the discovery of significant piezoelectric deposits in the region's rock formations. Quartz and other piezoelectric minerals, when subjected to the constant pressure of tectonic movements, generate electrical charges that can ionize the surrounding air. This process, known as triboluminescence, can create spontaneous luminous discharges, especially during periods of increased seismic activity. The interaction between these geological factors and the unique atmospheric conditions of the desert creates an environment conducive to persistent luminous phenomena. The low humidity preserves the electrical charges for longer periods, while rising thermal currents maintain the gases and particles in stable columnar configurations. The result is a natural phenomenon that could easily have been interpreted as supernatural by ancient observers, especially when it occurred with regularity and predictability. One of the most fascinating explanations for the pillar of fire in the Exodus lies in the behavior of Earth's magnetic field in the Sinai region. Recent research in paleomagnetism reveals that approximately 3,000 years ago, during the period traditionally attributed to the Exodus, Earth's magnetic field underwent a series of anomalous fluctuations. These variations created favorable conditions for aurora-like phenomena at much lower latitudes than normal. The Sinai is located in a unique geographical position where Earth's magnetic field lines converge, unusually due to subterranean iron anomalies. Extensive deposits of magnetite and hematite in the region, as rock formations create magnetic focal points that can channel and concentrate solar and cosmic radiation. During periods of high solar activity documented in paleoclimatic records from the time, these magnetic concentrations can produce luminous displays similar to the aurora borealis. Unlike polar auroras, which occur at high altitudes, the Sinai's magnetic phenomena would have manifested at much lower altitudes, creating luminous columns that appeared to touch the ground. The interaction between charged particles from the solar wind and local magnetic anomalies generates low-altitude atmospheric plasma that can remain cohesive and stable for hours or even days. The color and intensity of these phenomena depend on the local atmospheric composition. In the dry, mineral-rich air of the Sinai, the plasma tends to produce a white-bluish luminescence at night, which can appear golden or orange due to scattering through suspended dust particles. By day, the same phenomenon could create a column of ionized air that disperses sunlight differently, producing a visually distinct cloud. Historical records from civilizations contemporary to the Exodus mention unusual celestial phenomena during the same period. Egyptian, Assyrian, and Chinese chronicles from the era describe fire dragons in the sky and pillars of light that lasted for weeks or months. This temporal correlation suggests that the magnetic and solar conditions of the time were indeed exceptional, creating observable phenomena in multiple regions of the ancient world. The question that echoes through the millennia is whether the pillar of fire phenomenon was a unique and unrepeatable event, or if it represents a natural pattern that can still be observed under the right conditions. Modern scientific expeditions to the Sinai have documented sporadic occurrences of atmospheric luminous phenomena that bear remarkable similarities to the biblical descriptions, suggesting that the necessary conditions still exist, albeit at a lower intensity. Researchers at the Institute for Atmospheric Physics in Israel documented, between 2018 and 2023, at least 12 occurrences of persistent luminous columns in the southern Sinai region. These manifestations observed primarily during the winter months, when atmospheric conditions are more stable, exhibit consistent characteristics. Formation at dusk persistence for 6 to 18 hours. An average height of 200 to 500 meters and a luminosity sufficient to be seen from distances of up to 40 kilometers. Spectroscopic analysis of these contemporary phenomena reveals a complex chemical signature that includes emissions from ionized water vapor, sulfur compounds, and microscopic mineral particles. This composition is consistent with the hypothesis that the primary source is geothermal, but modified by the region's unique atmospheric processes. Most significantly, the patterns of occurrence show a correlation with cycles of solar activity and variations in Earth's magnetic field. Modern computational models suggest that during periods of maximum solar activity, such as those that occur every 400 to 500 years, conditions in the Sinai could intensify dramatically. In these circumstances, the luminous phenomena could not only be more frequent but also more intense and long-lasting, potentially persisting for continuous months or years, exactly as described in the Exodus narrative. This perspective transforms our understanding of the biblical event from an isolated miracle to a cyclic natural phenomenon that may have been interpreted through the religious cosmology of the time. It does not diminish the spiritual significance of the event but offers a bridge between faith and science, suggesting that the divine may manifest through the very natural laws that govern our universe. Even considering all the plausible scientific explanations for the pillar of fire and cloud in the Exodus, a fascinating gap remains between what we can explain and what was experienced. The convergence of so many factors, geological, magnetic, atmospheric, and astronomical in perfect synchronization to guide a 40-year migration defies statistical probabilities, suggesting that even natural phenomena can operate in ways that transcend our complete understanding. The directional and responsive nature of the pillar, as described in the scriptures, remains particularly intriguing. Natural phenomena follow predictable patterns based on physical laws, but the pillar seemingly reacted to the specific needs of the travelers, moving when they needed to travel and remaining stationary when they needed to rest. This apparent intelligence of the phenomenon suggests that our understanding of natural systems may be more limited than we imagine. Emerging theories in quantum physics and complexity science suggest that natural systems can exhibit behaviors that appear directional or intentional, especially when multiple variables interact at critical levels. The concept of emergence, where complex properties arise from simple interactions, may offer a framework for understanding how natural phenomena can manifest characteristics that seem to transcend their basic physical causes. Researchers of consciousness and information physics propose that reality itself may have participatory aspects, where conscious observation and intention can influence physical manifestations. If this perspective has merit, then the collective faith and expectation of hundreds of thousands of people in the desert may have contributed to shaping or sustaining the natural phenomenon in ways we do not yet fully understand. Perhaps the deepest question is not whether the pillar of fire was a miracle or a natural phenomenon, but how these two domains, the sacred and the scientific, can be complementary aspects of a broader reality. Science reveals the mechanisms. Spirituality can reveal the meaning. Both can be true simultaneously, offering different perspectives on the same extraordinary events that continue to shape our understanding of what is possible. The pillar of fire of the Exodus remains an enigma that challenges both skeptics and believers, suggesting that the boundary between the natural and the transcendent may be more fluid than we imagine. Perhaps the ancients were not simply witnessing a miracle, but observing the very forces of creation in action, forces that still operate today, waiting for our science and our faith to evolve enough to fully comprehend them.